I felt like, pregame we talked about focus, effort, toughness, discipline. We wanted to focus on what our respective jobs were individually. We wanted to make sure we exceeded the effort and the intensity of our counterpart, both individually and collectively, and all three areas of the field, on the defensive end, the offensive end, and in between the lines. We talked about toughness, having the toughness to take the pain, however you want to define that, associated with winning the situation. Whether that's getting chopped, whether that's, fighting through a bad call, whether it's exhaustion, whatever it may be, and then having the discipline to try to do it, one moment at a time. That's an unbelievable team loaded with sick players. They got an awesome coaching staff. They're tough as hell off the ground. They're connected defensively. Offensively, they can hurt you both from the attack and at the midfield. And I felt like we really did a good job of competing when the ball was on the ground. And ultimately, outside of scoring more goals than the other team, that's probably the statistic that every team is trying to win, and it's not lost on us. It wasn't lost on us coming into the game that, ground balls measure toughness, and the Chrome team led the league in ground balls. And they've got a claim to being the toughest team out there, and we certainly knew it was going to take everything, that we had, and it did. And credit Chrome on an unbelievable season, and credit our guys for meeting the challenge today.
Hey, Coach, Hudson Jackson with Pro Lacrosse Talk. Talk to me a little bit about the defensive game plan going in the game, how you guys think you executed it. You disrupted a lot of shots and then you get a lot on cage. How did you guys execute your defense?
Yeah, look, that's a really tough team to match up with. They've got a lot of guys that can hurt you, and they all are unselfish, and they all play together. And we really wanted to make sure that we were not creating offense for them. And that meant we had to be disciplined on our approaches. That meant that, we had to communicate start to finish in the possessions. And, we needed to make sure that if there were rebounds that, we had 2 sticks for every one that they had. And, I look at the game that Blaze played. He played an unbelievable game, and the defense in front of him allowed him to see some shots that he felt comfortable getting. And, you really got to give a lot of credit to our defensive coordinator. Jamie Hanford has done an incredible job this season, and Ryan Curtis has helped us as well behind the scenes as our volunteer, and who was our DC last year. And, both Hanford and Curtis got the defense ready to play. And I felt like, they did a good job of allowing Blaze to see some shots that he could save.
Hey, Coach. Doug Reberg, Front Office Sports. Another year, you guys squeak into the playoff picture at the last, kind of coming into the last weekend. You get another big win to start off the playoffs. How do you get your guys up for the playoffs, and what is it about this atmosphere that really gets you guys going?
Well, like every team in this league, our goal is to win the championship. And in order to do that, you got to make the playoffs. And so certainly with a 2-8 record, we weren't, we expect 2-8 praise, right? Because that's what we've earned. With that said, you make the playoffs and it's win and move on. And, we came into the game. I don't think we had a lot of pressure on us based on the regular season that we had, but we did feel like we played our best game of the year out in Seattle, at least on the defensive end and even on the offensive end. We just didn't feel like we finished very well. In that game, we got beat up in the middle of the field on the face-offs, but we did a good job of competing for all the other ground balls that weren't face-off situational. And today, it wasn't lost on us. This is a really tough team with an unbelievable goaltender who's playing really well, and they established themselves as, again, the best ground ball team in the league, which I would also goes, with the title of maybe the toughest team. And we knew that we had to come out and make a concentrated effort, because if we went through the motions, they would beat us off the ground again like they did in Denver, and that was the difference in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, going back, hey, Coach DJ with Outside the Box podcast. Going back to that game in Denver, Josh Byrne was pretty much neutralized, held to 2 goals and assists, and Max Adler was only facing off at about 35%. Today, you got 61% from Max Adler, and you got 6 points from Josh Byrne. What did you see from them today, and then what do you expect to see from them moving forward?
Well, Ads went out and did his job. You know, I told Farrell after our game in Denver that I thought he was the MVP of that game. You know, he won whatever, like you said, 62% of the faceoffs. He had 10 ground balls in that game, many of which were, in 3-on-3 scrums. And I don't think there's a more improved player in the PLL than Connor Farrell. He's had an unbelievable season. And so we knew that, Max had his hands full coming into the game, but I think the pressure was on Farrell more than it was on Max, seeing that Farrell beat him up in Denver. And we have a ton of confidence in Max, and Max is perpetually scouting himself on ways that he can get better, and he certainly was a lot better today than he was in Denver. But he didn't do it alone. You look at the impact that Challen Rogers and Kyle Jackson had from the wings. We wanted to be a little more aggressive. It's the first game all year that we've only gone with one pole. And, Troy and CJ did a great job of taking away transition, but also trying to stay with Salama the best we could. And, in the event that there was a tie-up, ideally we could get them to Farrell, and it created a couple of turnovers. But I can't say enough about Max Adler, and the standard that he holds himself to is almost irresponsibly high in some degree, and he really answered the bell today. Josh Byrne, as great of a player as he is, he's a better teammate. He got his points within the framework of our schemes, and that's something that takes a lot of discipline and a lot of unselfishness. And we're never surprised by his success. The best thing about it is, again, he's getting it within the framework.
How we doing?
You want to just start us off with some opening thoughts on the game?
Yeah, you know what? I thought we did a very good job of keeping our cool throughout the entire game. I thought our group, we've been here before, right? We've had a tough regular season before. The last 3 years, it's been a tough regular season, right? Going back to the bubble. And understanding that at the end of the day, it's what you do in playoffs that counts. And I think we brought that today.
Hey Josh, Lauren Ferralla with the PLL. What were you seeing from Crom's defense today, and specifically, why were you able to take advantage of your matchup on Giles Harris?
I don't think that I took advantage of JT. He's an extremely good defender. I think that they were trying not to slide as much as possible, which is kind of one of the characteristics of a Chrome defense. Their short sticks are very good. Their pulls are all extremely good. I think that on our end, we just focused on moving the ball, letting the ball do the work, and really just enjoying playing the game. And I think that was kind of to our advantage today.
Hey Josh, DJ from Outside the Box podcast. Challen Rogers exploded for one of his random explode games and had 3, and I think an assist as well. What has it been like having him out here on the field against you guys?
So I played against Challen since I was probably about 10 years old. So I know what he can do and how he can affect a game. So, a couple of years ago when we got a chance to draft him coming out of the MLL draft, I knew that was going to be huge for our offense. And it's taken him, he's so unselfish. We've kind of had to get after him a little bit and be like, yo, go to the rack, man. You are a nightmare to stop. And you know what? He's fitting in perfectly. And it's tough between him, Dane, Smithers, Kiefer, KJ. How are you going to guard these guys, right? So at the end of the day, yeah, he's explosive and he's dangerous.
Doug Greenberg, Front Office Sports. I asked Coach Towers the same thing. The playoff atmosphere, man, like it gets you going, it gets the team going. What about the playoff atmosphere does it for you guys?
It's just a different energy, right? Something about understanding that your back's against the wall and it's win and go home. I feel like we thrive in that atmosphere. I feel like we always have. I think our group just has that kind of grittiness to us. It makes the game a lot more fun.
Tommy Birch with New Sports, you guys were electric in transition today. And I want to know, how important do you think that is for you guys and your success in the offense?
Our transition game has turned within the last couple of years from, bomb squad, whatever you want to call it. And you know what? Sometimes it's tough for those guys to pass up twos and just make the right play. I think today we did that. We played smart throughout the entire game, not just in transition on offense, but in something that we call reverse transition. Okay, so getting off the floor, not allowing them to get transition. So I think we played really well in the transition game on both ends.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
You want to start us off with some opening thoughts on the game?
Yay.
Everyone got that?
No, we set out to accomplish our goal, and that was to play chaos ball against a good Chrome team today. And we thought our advantage was that we knew the magnitude of the moments that were going to come throughout the game, and we knew that they were a little younger, and that if we came off to a fast start and didn't grip our sticks too much and, trusted one another, that, we would be able to get off to a fast start. And I think we got up 5-0 on them and, never really looked back from there.
Awesome. Question.
How important was Jack Rowland today? Kind of eliminated the third game after.
Yeah, I mean, he eliminated Nick Turn. Jared eliminated Wisnauskas, and Matt Reese eliminated. We pretty much eliminated them all over the field. They scored 3 goals. It was a total team effort. Guys collapsing, getting first-time ground balls, and we really focused on their tendencies. We knew they played fast. They played as a team. They moved the ball, but they did have tendencies. They did a lot of the same things over and over, and they did it well all year. And we figured if we could mess up that flow a little bit, that it would be an advantage us. And we did that, and obviously made it really hard for them to score on us.
Someplace. Next week, you guys are either going to get, Redwoods or Archers at the scene of where you guys won your championship last year. Keys to either of those matchups from, facing them in the past, and how do you guys kind of contain the emotions a little bit going back to where, you guys were crown champs?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost, guys are jumping around in that locker room. I think the win has to do with it, but I think just, honestly, the opportunity to extend our season and to have another weekend together. We all, looked around and realized that these moments aren't guaranteed. And, this team's not guaranteed next year. And we love this group. And to be able to spend time together is exciting for us. As far as the matchup, we got to obviously see how it pans out. Pretty familiar with a lot of the opponents at this point, and we're confident that we're running. Everyone was on the championship roster last year besides Challen Rogers, who's seemingly fit in very well for us. So we've been here, we've done that, and we'll climb that mountain when it comes.
DJ from OTB, looking at the defensive side, the last couple of weeks you guys have been rotating between DK and Matt Reese. What has it been like kind of just having that fluidity down there to be able to kind of just pull any guy down that pole and do the job? And then also, you talked a little bit about next week. Is there a team you would rather play between the Archers and the Redwoods?
As far as the fluidity of our team, man, we have 2 young guys that haven't played in the last couple weeks, Zach Geddes and BK, and they've been great. They've been on all the Zoom calls. This is a hard league, right? I started my career as a backup for 4 seasons, played about 8 minutes total in 4 years, and they're eager to learn. They're supportive, and Coach Towers decided that he wanted to go with a little more veteran group, knowing that these moments throughout the game, experience goes a long way, and it showed today. So kudos to the coaching staff, kudos to those rookies to, really be all in on us as a team. As far as who we want to play, I mean, I don't really know who would want to play us after what we just put together, but we also know that it's who shows up for those 48 minutes next week. And I think we just have to continue to build and, look at what went well and what didn't. And obviously 2 totally separate teams and the way styles they play. Redwoods are big. They got, long ball threats all over the field. They got TD Erlin at the X, whereas the Archers, have arguably the best player in the world at the midfield, and they have shooters all over the floor. So 2 totally different, but that game will, it's time for us to digest and worry about us first, and then we'll take that on when need be.
Time for one more question. Does anyone on Zoom have a question?
Hey, Blaze, Lauren Hall of the PLL. What were points of emphasis that you and your defense discussed going in today, and how did that help you be so successful in that?
honestly, we really studied what they did. We figured out that they were consistent at what they did, but they didn't have many layers to their offense. I mean, Nick Turns, obviously their quarterback at X. They want to dodge down that alley. They want to draw a slide, and they want to get the ball to Nick Turn, where he's then going to throw it to Wisnauskas to initiate. And we knew Jordan McIntosh was an off-ball guy that if you turn your head, right? So we focused on what we call the knowns and shutting down the knowns and making them, earn it another way. And we figured if we did that it would be hard for them to score 10 goals, and we trusted our offense was going to score more than 10. And then, as the game goes on and that score, the margin gets larger. Obviously, they're rushing to take shots that are, easier to see, and it's a trickle down effect. And playoff lacrosse is real, and I think they're going to learn. And kudos to them. Coach Sudan was my high school coach. I have nothing but respect for him. I have nothing but respect for what he's done with that team this year. They have all to be proud of, but there are levels, and we've conquered all of them, and we're ready to, earn another weekend together next week and come out and play OSBall.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yep.
Opening thoughts about the game?
Yeah, it was hard to sit there and watch. It never seemed like the ball bounced our way. But the preparation was there. I think, as McIntosh was saying, a lot of the little things, like the ball goes off the ref, and everybody, I think we did a good job of internalizing the mistakes that we were making and try to make plays and adjustments to overcome those. If you guys told me that they were only going to score 11 goals this game, going into this game, I would have said we were going to win. We just could not get the offensive train. I guess kudos goes out to the coaching staff and the defensive end of the field, as well as the face-off unit. Blaze Reardon, I've known him since he was little. Had a great game. So kudos to the Chaos game guys. They really came out and played really hard, and they were a handful, and we didn't get our hands free a lot. When we did, we didn't take shots that could beat Blaze. So, it was disappointing to see us struggle offensively. I spent a lot of time with the offensive guys, and we made adjustments during the game, and every adjustment, it just seemed like, we'd get hands free and shoot take bad shots. I don't think it was our best shooting day.
Thank you.
Because you're coming into the playoffs pretty hot, how much did the week off kind of stifle it?
I don't know. I think, it wasn't that long a period off, so I think it was good. I don't think it stifled momentum much. I felt the locker room energy was really good. And it just came down to some execution, our face-offs and our offensive end. But at the end of the day, I'm going to reflect heavily on my preparation for this game. I lead this team, and, I'm going to take the blame for this. And it is a young group of guys that I felt gripped their sticks pretty hard at times. And, we had more turnovers than, we were hoping to lessen the mistakes. And I think we didn't do that. So defensively, I thought until the wheels came off towards the end, I thought we played a great game. They're going to get goals. They're very good offensively. I just, I'm surprised that we didn't shoot well, some of the things that went on our offensive end. So,
Hey, Coach, Doug Greenberg from Front Office Sports. You're not just the coach of this team, you're the GM, and you did such a fantastic job building this team this past offseason. What does this upcoming offseason look like for you in terms of, keeping this group together, building on top of things that you think you need to address, and of course, like just enriching the young guys as you were talking about?
Yeah, I think the championship series gives us an opportunity to get together. I know it's a different format. And, we haven't made decisions on who's going and who can do what. But, that's a fun part in the off season. All right. The season's fun. There's a lot of travel. There's a lot of stress involved for everybody as far as traveling, one side of the country to the other. Is my flight delayed, different things like that. But, it's the absolute fun part for everybody. In the off season, we take a lot of pride in finding the right people to put in our locker room. And, I'm happy with where we're at. We're going to have to rewatch some things. And, I really like this group. I told them before the game, I love them. And, it's one of the best groups I've been around. And the culture is such that it's such a close-knit group. But, we'll evaluate where we need to get better. There's certainly room for some growth here.
Coach DJ here from Outside the Box Podcast. Moving forward, you mentioned kind of your preparation for the game. How do you yourself and the coaching staff get better to help this team moving forward, using the championship series in the off season so that you guys can build upon it?
I think there's a lot of, I don't say it very often, but, my coaching staff's very, very good. Coach Monty has been doing this since back when I was playing in the MLL. So, a big thank you goes out to Jock Monty, Matt Kerwick, and Nate Watkins. They put tireless hours in, and I think we did a great job. I think we get into the playoffs and you lay an egg like this today, and you just want that time back, right? Like, I think that we play those guys 2 out of 3 times and it might be a different outcome. But you got to get off the bus. I told the guys at halftime, we got a lot of younger guys here. I was hoping for them to be a little less nervous and make some plays. And I thought at times we were making plays, but Blaze stood on his head, and defensively they played very well. So, looking forward to the championship series to, depending on how the availability of our players during that period of time, maybe using that as an opportunity to pull some guys in that we're interested in the player pool and see them compete and see what their compete level's like. So, we'll work hard in the off season and, try to plug some holes, and we don't have too many holes. I'm happy with the group that we have. So, all right, guys. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you guys for everything.
Want to start us off with some opening thoughts on the game?
Not many thoughts, unfortunately. I'm not going to be very lively today.
Okay.
Nothing went right.
Yeah, I can start long from the PLL here. Can you talk about, obviously a disappointing finish here, but can you talk about some of the positives from a transformation your team has had from last season to this season and the impact your coaching staff has had on that?
Obviously we had a much better regular season, and I think starting to kind of rebuild something here. Unfortunately, same result as a couple of years ago, where we had a really strong regular season and just didn't get it done in the playoffs. So, obviously coming from where we were last year, the lone team outside looking in to where we finished this season, it's a great step. But learning how to play and to execute in playoffs is something we still got a hump we still got to get over as an organization. So, really great to get here, but that's not good enough today, unfortunately.
Jordan, with Lacrosse, what were some of the things that they were doing on defense that you feel like disrupted this offense, as well as maybe something that differed from when you last played this team?
there's just, I mean, this is the sport. There's games where it feels like nothing is going right. And that's what today felt like. Like just little tiny things that you start to see, cascade and kind of snowball over a game, whether it's, we win a face-off, but we bump into the ref and they pick the ball up, or we get a hands-free shot with our, best shooter and someone's that's closing the gap on them gets a stick on it. We finally get a look and we hit a post, or we shoot one that Blaze makes an amazing save on. And just, it kind of felt like anytime we started to get a little something going, there was that thing that killed us. And you start kind of digging yourself a hole. You get down a couple, you get in the locker room down 4, you're feeling okay, but not our best stuff. We got a chance in the second half, and then we hit the post in the very first possession. Logan comes over the top, hits the post in the very first possession. They go down and score. It was just one of those days where nothing went right, and the worst day for that to happen, unfortunately. Thanks.
Yeah, not the way we want the season to go, obviously. Start all the way back at Memorial Day and then come here. It's Labor Day weekend and, trying to play our best lacrosse at the end of the year. Jesse Bernhardt, said a couple weeks ago, it's kind of like college. We want to play our best lacrosse in May and, I guess September here for our case, and we didn't do that today. But I love this group and I want to train for the world.
Hey, Sean, Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Looking at all the changes this team went through from last year to this year and the success you guys had in the regular season, when you look back on 2022, what are some things that are going to stand out that you personally and you think as a team you guys will carry with you into next season and into the championship series as well in February?
I think a lot of new guys stepped up this year. We had a lot of new faces in the locker room and a lot of guys last year that retired and left a legacy here for us. They really were a good example. And a couple of these young guys didn't get a chance to meet them, but the veterans that were here really set the tone for these younger guys. And, I can't be more proud of this group enough. And, going into next season, I feel like now there's no more young guys on the team. Everyone who's here this year is, hopefully going to be with us next year. And, we got to take the next step.
DJ here from Outside the Box podcast. How do you guys use the championship series and this off time in the off season, kind of just to gel the team more and kind of just use that veteran knowledge to help the younger guys catch up and to build off of this season? Because kind of just looking at what Atlas did last year, you guys are very similar to them. How do you guys kind of keep that trend moving forward?
Yeah, going to off season, we have a great group of veterans and a great group of leaders. I think the thing is going to be communication. We're very tight. We text each other, laughing. We don't live in the same area, but technology is a beautiful thing. Whether it's a FaceTime once a week or a phone call, just check up on guys. And the championship series up in February, it's going to be great. We don't have to wait till next May to be together again as a group. So we're really excited about that.
We have time for one more. Does anyone on Zoom have a question?
PLL, first full year starter with the league. Give us your biggest takeaway and positives going into next season.
Like I said before, the biggest takeaway is how tight-knit of a group we were. Jesse Bernhardt, JT Giles Harris, Michael Manley, those guys, Ryan Tarafanko, Woolhouse, Messenger, Salama, Nick Grill, those guys. I give those guys the credit, man. Coach Mine does a great job during the week. We have a Zoom with him every week, and we go over the film from last week and go over the next team we're going to play. Those guys have been playing lacrosse for a really long time, and I'm just thankful to be, to stand behind them and watch them do their thing. I'm really fortunate enough for that, and I love those guys to the end, man. Thanks, guys.
Can't see anybody. It's probably better.
Do you want to start us off with some opening remarks just about the game in general?
Sure. Thrilled to get a W, obviously, playoff atmosphere against a seasoned vet team. I thought in all phases we did a good job and we needed to. I thought it started, between the lines at the face-off X early. Justin and our wing play, just gave us life and gave us the ball early. And offensively, we just were able to get sharing it and getting it to the back of the net. We knew there was going to be a run and we knew that was a quality team. So I thought defensively we were really good throughout the game. I thought Gitz did a nice job, but I thought overall our defensive unit was
was strong, and it got ugly and messy and all that, towards the end. But we just kind of hung together, and we're just, as I said, we're thrilled to advance.
Hi, Coach Hutton with Pro Lacrosse Talk. You defeated the Chaos earlier this season twice, but they kind of had your number in the postseason. You get to face them next week. A little serendipitous there, but talk about your expectations for the upcoming game.
I have no idea, and that's respectful. Like, I thought that was going to come like in the fifth question. Like, come on, man, let me enjoy this a little bit. Like, like it is what it is. Like, well, we're excited. We just want to play, and whoever's in front of us, we play. Is it them? Yeah. Am I surprised that they've advanced? Not necessarily. Like, it's a seasoned vet team, and so we're focused on putting a smile on our face and celebrating in our locker room right now.
Hey, Coach. Doug Greenberg from Front Office Sports. You mentioned when you came in here the playoff atmosphere. What do you think specifically about that atmosphere? Like, got your guys up for this game and got them the win?
Well, you know what? We talked about coming full circle. Like, this group's been together for a long time. A core of this team has been, and we started here. And we mentioned that last night in practice. The first game ever of a PLL season, you caught the bug right after that first face-off, and Bone scores it, and Will finishes it in overtime, and you just felt like you were part of something. So to come back here and win a playoff game is exciting. Gillette does a phenomenal job. The crowd was great. The facility's obviously first class. So I just think it felt like a real deal playoff game, and that's what you got. And so I thought it delivered on all fronts.
Coach DJ here from OTB. You got great work from your short stick defense today, specifically with Latrell Harris. What did you see just from that group? It's definitely playing against the Redwoods, who are top heavy at the midfield.
Yeah, they're big boys up top, and you got to account for them. I thought we crowded them enough to not give them space. But just, Miles Jones is a bear to cover. Perk, obviously, Jules is tough, and Bertrand's one of the best middies in the game. So, I thought Latrell Harris, I thought, Dominique and Mark McNeil and Trey really did a great job. And I appreciate that question, because those guys are unsung heroes. And, I thought they just set the tone with being physical on ball. We didn't have to slide a whole ton. Again, they have weapons everywhere, and I thought those guys helped lead the way for us. And close defense, obviously, and our polls were really good too.
So, Tommy Birch, News Sports, you guys were great at moving the ball around, kind of a culmination of what the season's been like for you guys. What kind of confidence does that give you for next week?
This group doesn't lack confidence. That's for sure. Sometimes I have to temper the confidence, and we have to not waste possessions. So we've talked a lot about being efficient, with every one of our possessions and playing with pace. And I thought we did that. I thought we went after them. We wanted not to be on our heels. We wanted to be on the front end of going after them a little bit. And I thought, Fieldsy did that early. And I just thought it set the tone for us offensively when we go at you. And you got to think about sliding and hedging. Then the ball starts to move, and we got some off-ball goals, as a result. And I thought that loosened us up a little bit. And then then you earn your confidence. I thought we shot it, relatively well. I thought we adjusted, pretty well at halftime with some shooting decisions. But I think it's a group that if we can get the ball and consistently, possess it a little bit. And again, back to the difference in the game early on was face-offs and wing play. TD's one of the better ones out there, and I thought J.I. and our wing play just gave us the ball, and you just felt our energy. You just felt our, comfort with the ball in our stick, and it takes some pressure off our defense. So, we get that kind of play, then our confidence continues. But we earned it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Good. See y'all. Thank you, guys.
The Archers. Marcus, you're going to start us off with some opening remarks.
Sure. We got another week together. That was our goal. Coach Bates gave us a really awesome talk last night just after we finished practice. And I said to Chantel outside, just like there's some deeper relationships on this Archers team that extend, I think, a little bit beyond just playing together on the field as teammates. There's some bonds there, and Dominique Alexander wrote me a letter before the game. Just, we've played every single professional game together, going back to 2013 with the Ohio Machine. So that was, again, just when the playoffs come, the emotions run a little bit higher. So I'm just excited to be back and wearing an Archers jersey with a great group of guys in the locker room that we have.
While I'm in the PLL here, knowing there's a lot of free agency coming up at the end of this season, is there an added amount of urgency and a little bit more heart with this group, knowing this could be kind of the last dance that you guys are playing?
For sure. 100%. I mean, that, I think that was like the genesis behind like our motto, like unofficially, has been all in this year. And just, I mean, we just, I think you get a short window with guys that are just talented, and I think you gotta put up or shut up. I think, and we haven't done that. To be just black and white about it, and we took a good step forward today. I think this has just been a process from the beginning, and I got to give credit again to Coach Bates and Coach Resch and Coach Cav. They've done a great job just of building our team to be where we are right now, and we're feeling good to get a win today and just move on to next week.
Hi, it's Tommy from New Sports. I was talking to Coach about it earlier. The offense was hitting the ball around, culmination of the whole season. And what was it like having all the guys group together and come out with a big win?
Yeah, it's again, that's been a process too, right? I think looking back to the start of the season, right, losing, the attackman of the year, Grant, we had to adjust. And I think about a guy like Connor DeSimone, who did an incredible job for us at the first half of the season. And, the tough part about professional lacrosse right now is like he can't dress and be on the sideline with us. But, that's just like part of the culture that we wanted to create, is that guys care and want to do it for the team. And, we've moved some pieces around with Will and Connor kind of switching at attack, me and Grant kind of switching at attack and midfield. So it seems to be clicking for us right now. We know defenses are going to game plan differently, whether it's sliding early or not sliding at all. And you just have to adjust to that. And I think we're kind of able to do both right now with the threats that we have. So it's just fun to be a part of the offense and do my job to the best of my ability. Cool.
Hey, Marcus, Jay Blunts here with the PLL. Got Chaos coming up next week. It's a team that knocked you guys out the previous 2 seasons. Can you talk about that matchup coming up? And is there any added intensity going into the semifinal?
Man, you guys are going to have a frenzy with that, huh? Archers versus Chaos. How could you script it any better? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, poetic in a way. Like, it's just, now's the time. We got to do it. We got to get it done. And at the same time, though, it's like, it's still a lacrosse game. Like the field is the same size. There's still the same amount of time on the clock. There's one ball. It's playoff lacrosse, so it's going to be intense. We're going to play hard. They're obviously going to play hard. This is their MO, right? I didn't watch the game before us, but from what I heard, they played hard and physical and did their thing. So 2 great teams going at it. We'll be ready, and we're going to be excited for sure.
Sarah Griffin with the PLL, how important was it for you guys to get off to a hot start? Because I feel like with this offense, you guys have so many different contributors. If you're able to get on board early on, it really is pretty much near impossible to contain this offense.
Yeah, it's always nice, and I think we just battled in the middle of the field to get some extra possessions early on. And that was able to just like get us into a flow quicker offensively. And I don't know how many goals we scored or whatever, but I felt like, yeah, we came out fast, and it's nice to get that momentum going early in the game. But again, one of our mantras too has just been like, play the first half, win the second. You play in the first half, but you win the game in the second half, really. So I think when we look back on this film, the second half wasn't very pretty. I think we tied 4-4 in the second half, but when you're able to give yourself a nice cushion at halftime, we still have a full 48 minutes that we need to put together. I think today was like 35, so our best game is still in front of us. So that's exciting. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Schreiber here from the Archers. Thank God he's here. If you want to start us off with just some opening thoughts about the game.
Yeah, it was a fun one. I think anytime you win in the playoffs, it's always going to be a good time. But I think it was, a really good effort from all over the place on the field. I think our D guys did well. I think it was a big game for our short stick D mids. That's quite the task on their end to stop their middies. And I think our guys did a good job kind of containing them, and just nice to get kind of a full team effort and a nice win from a lot of different places. So I'll take it.
Lacrosse talk. I know we talk a lot of offense and defense, but Justin Ignacio and the wing play was also a big contributor for you guys. Talk a little bit about him and the wings and how he made it this today.
Yeah, they were great. I think they really battled. I think there were very few easy wins, really either way. So I think anytime you're getting those kind of tough, gritty ground balls and getting possessions for us, and even the ones that we lost, we definitely didn't make it easy on them. And I think we rode the ball back pretty well, and their offense had to deal with a lot of short shot clocks. I think those guys had a huge impact on the game, not only from a possession standpoint, but just momentum. And those are the sorts of plays that get you going as a team. So they were awesome. Really, the whole unit, the wings, and Justin, leading the way, just really toughing it out and really doing a great job for us.
Hey Tom, for you guys to get that elusive non-bubble playoff win now and for it to happen here where you guys played your very first game back in 2019, how cool is that for you? Being a leader on this team and having been here since the beginning to finally get that one in the belt and get that playoff win checked off the box.
Yeah, it feels good. I forget what the exact breakdown is, but Coach Bates laid it out. I think, it's like a even third between in training camp this year. I think it was brand new guys who have been on the team for a year or two, and guys who were here since the beginning. So to be one of those guys from the beginning to kind of, Coach referenced it the other day, just thinking about like our first win as a team together. Will Manny scored the winner against Chrome, and referenced like celebrating with Rat or something like that. And it is cool, like thinking about the journey to get here and the opportunity that we have ahead, still competing in the playoffs and still alive for a championship, to be one of those original guys is cool, and it's pretty special to see us grow as a group and to see kind of our original, culture like shift a little bit, but, still kind of maintain that, that kind of core, focus and everything. So it's definitely cool. It was great to be back here and to get a win. It's a cherry on top.
DJ from outside the box. Coach Bates brought up how you guys have a lot of personality and a lot of confidence in the locker room. What's it like playing out in the field with all those guys? So they bring a lot of energy and a lot of passion.
Yeah, it's fun. I think we're at our best when, everyone's kind of being themselves. And I think that goes for any team in any sport. And I think we did that today really more than we have all year. I think guys weren't afraid to be themselves, whether it's a D guy, maybe throwing a check that's a little risky or some of our offensive players like getting to the net and being aggressive. I think when we're aggressive, we're good. And, when guys are themselves, we're good. And I think, our staff, the leaders on our team, really from top to bottom, all believe in one another. And, at this point of the year, I think that's a very, very good thing. So we're in a good place mentally, and I think it'll allow us to play at the highest level that we can. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Miles, can you just start us off in the opening statement?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that first quarter was back and forth. We knew it was going to be a pretty tough game. We've always played them pretty tough. They've always been excited to play us. It's always been a fun game. Whenever Redwoods and Archer strap it up, hats off to their defense. Gilman played well. Their defense, they were stout. They were physical. They were swarming the ball. They cleared it well. They ran in transition well. And, they're guys that have been there for a while, stepped up for them. And, just tough ending for us.
Hey Miles, having a Lacrosse talk. Was there anything in particular that you guys hoped to execute in this game that you felt like you maybe weren't able to execute, your game plan or whatever that kind of led to some of your struggles today?
Yeah, when you look at that first quarter, I feel like we played really well. We were really balanced. We were dodging, throwing the ball forward and getting their defensive slough in. And then we were capitalizing on ball movement. I feel like we just kind of got away from and kind of got tired of doing it right. we were pretty stagnant on offense. We kind of fell into their trap where they were putting one short stick down on our attackman, and we kind of freaked out and thought we had to go to that when it's quite frankly, it's very tough to play off-ball defense when you're a short stick on an attackman. We should have exploited that more. But other than that, we were really familiar with that team. I just think it came down to execution, and we just didn't do that. Obviously we went on that drought and didn't score any goals for a while after that second quarter. And I think that hurt us because our defense did strap it up and play a lot better, and they buckled down, and we just couldn't get it done on our end.
Miles, how deflating was the kind of the momentum shifting from after Perfect was flagged down there and that melee kind of ensued? How much did that kind of turn the tide for the rest of the sport?
Yeah, that play, it could have been worse for us, but being down 2 men in a situation where, their offense was playing really well. We gave up a goal at the very tail end. We were actually even 6-on-6. But I think our defense played pretty well in that scenario where we didn't give up anything while we were short. But yeah, emotionally, that did take a turn. I think guys kind of inevitably just kind of had their heads down. Their body language was a little different because, this is a huge game. We don't really have, time to be down in the box for emotional errors. Obviously playing full speed and messing up like that is one thing, but emotional errors really can change the fate of the game because, guys are trying to battle back, guys are trying to make plays, guys are trying to push it a little bit after certain plays like that to kind of, make up. But, it was tough, and I think our defense handled it pretty well, and we, obviously gave up that one goal at the end of the 2 minutes, but it could have got a lot worse.
Hey, Miles, DJ from outside the box. How excited are you to become a father, and what is it going to be like next year playing with, a new number 1 family inside?
Yeah, being a dad's a new challenge. I think, there are certain moments in my life that have kind of made that real. Like I had a baby shower last week, and, my fiance's handing me baby clothes, and I'm like, wow, this is, there's gonna be a little human inside of these clothes, and I'm gonna have to take care of it. Coach gave me a hug, and he quickly shifted my gears. So obviously we lost the game. It was pretty tough to see a season go by, but I'm excited. I think it's gonna be awesome. I got something to play for. I think it's gonna be awesome just to kind of have my baby girl come to games and be able to hold her after fighting really hard. So super excited for that. And my fiance is super excited for it, and my family's been pretty excited for it as well. Thank you.
Start us off with an opening statement about the game.
Credit to the Archers. They came out hot and executed their game plan early. And in this league, it's definitely tough to come back when you fall behind. And even when we were able to get it close there a few times, they stuck it out. So credit to them. They were great today. They were unselfish on offense and played great team defense. I thought Adam Gittleman was tremendous in goal, and as a veteran, he's been in there for quite a while. So hats off to him as well. And the seasons are never easy. You play this game to win championships, and when you come short of your goal, it's tough. And there's a lot of emotions and a lot of different feelings. So proud of this team and where we have come from where we started the season. But we were, we came short of our ultimate goal today, and hopefully we can regroup and get better this offseason and come back next year and come back better and put ourselves in a better position to get to where we want to go.
Hey, Rob, it's Kyle. When you look back on this season, like you said, from where you guys have started to where, today ended and everything, what are some things that are going to stick out to you about 2022 that you personally feel you can carry into 2023 with, and what you feel this team can bring into next season?
I think we have a tough group of guys that are resilient and don't give up and play hard. I think when you start a season 1-4, you learn a lot about yourselves, and we were able to come in and turn that around and make the playoffs, which from there anything can happen. But I think it starts with the core group of guys in our locker room, and we've got some guys that will fight to the end, and some great leaders, and I think that's certainly what we'll look back on. But hopefully those guys that do return can look back on the reasons we didn't win today, and the reasons we didn't move past the quarterfinals, because that's what it's going to take for us to get to where we want to go next year with that core group of guys returning.
If you want to start us off with opening thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it on the season. I think the game kind of embodied the season. I'm proud of our guys, right? We had a tough go. Injuries, things not going our way. Guys just trying to make plays because they cared, and it ended up hurting us a little bit on offense. We played a little tight, but I was really proud of how everybody responded throughout the adversity. We've done that since 2019, and it's been a great 4 years for me to be able to coach these guys and work with this locker room. And when I told them in the locker room, like, this season doesn't define us. It doesn't. One game doesn't define who you are in life. We've got guys getting married. Miles getting ready to be a father. There's so many things in life we get to look forward to. The feeling in that locker room sucks, because I know the adversity that these guys have battled through, and a lot of them I've been with for 4 years, 5 years, and it's just tough to see it end the way that it did. And I told them, the season's going to end the right way for one team. That's it. So we really need to reflect on that. We know that there's some big changes coming in pro lacrosse next, in the next coming months, with contracts and free agency and all of that. So we were there together a little longer, and I kind of liked it. The room will probably be different in so many different ways next year. So, I wanted them to make sure that we reflected on that, be where our feet are, be with the guys in the locker room. And we got beat today. We got outplayed. We played tight at times. We got outside of who we are. But, they kept battling all the way to the end. And, that's why I'm, my 4 years of my time in the PLL, I'll never forget. It was awesome.
Hey, Coach. Doug Reber from Front Office Sports. So you just mentioned that you might see and envision some changes coming. There's going to be some different guys in the room. What exactly? How do you think? What kind of adjustments do you think you need to make going into next year?
I'm not. We're not going to answer that emotionally. We know who we are. I wanted to keep this group together. I know when we were 1-4, everybody's like, what moves are we going to make? We got to blow this thing up. We got to do this and that. I like the room. I trust the room, and then we got it going. So there are some changes. There's guys' contracts that are coming up. There's a lot going on with the sixes, and then I don't know the timeline to when free agency hits, but I'm not going to spend too much time on that. My whole point was the men in that room mean the world to me. Period. And they mean the world to each other, period. They need to take the time, and we needed to take the time in that room to acknowledge one another, say what we need to say to one another, because once we walk out the door, the world's different for everybody. And we needed to be in the moment.
Pro lacrosse talk. Obviously missing a leader like Glazer definitely doesn't help. Did you think that kind of played into how you guys played today, and what's his status so far? I know it's injury's pretty fresh, but how's he doing so far?
Well, right now he's bummed, right? He wanted. We were hoping that we might be able to get him back if we could have, won another game or two. He's a competitor. He's one of the smartest, most caring people I've ever been around. So he's bummed. We're hoping, obviously he'll have a full recovery now, and we'll see what next year brings for him. But you can't replace him. I've been doing this for a long time. And I think, 9 years of pro lacrosse, and, he's one of the best communicators I've ever been around, one of the most respected teammates that I've seen. And, it's really tough without him. But to that point, Finn Sullivan, getting, basically rotated out of our starting lineup mid-year to come back and play the way that he's played the last few games, and Apple stepping up and other guys trying to step up and play. I'm just so damn proud of this group.
Coach, obviously, this chapter 4 for you with the Woods.
Yep.
Every season's been different. Every season has a different storyline. But when you look back on 2022, what are some things that are going to, stick with you as you move forward with this team, and for you personally, going into 2023 and beyond? What are some things that you'll learn from this season in particular that you'll carry?
The biggest one is our DNA. the tough, gritty plays, we're never out of it type mentality. I'll take that with us wherever we go. That will forever be embodied in me and who I am because I've learned it from that locker room. What does it mean moving forward? We know that we got to change up a little bit, how we defend, how we play offense. We definitely got to take a long, hard look at where guys are in their careers, and there's going to be a ton of movement. But the one thing that I'll take away is, man, what a ride, right? Those 4 years and this year, what a hell of a ride it's been, right? 1-4 to almost 4-1, and in the second half of the season going 3-2 and battling back to get where we are in the playoffs. Like I said, the common themes. I'm proud and I'm fortunate to be this coach, and I love that room, and I'm going to miss it, quite frankly. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Some opening thoughts about the game.
Yeah, I think first of all, I think you tip your cap to the Atlas. That's a great team, and they obviously have talent all over the field. Like Cope said, it starts with Baptiste, but it certainly doesn't stop there between all that offensive firepower and the defense that they have. Anytime you're able to put it 19 on a team like that, on a defense like that, it's a good day. But I think the cool thing is it was a good game for us, but I think that, we still can take away some things from this and get better. So I think that provides some excitement going into next week.
Mike, DJ here from Outside the Box podcast. Going into next week, you guys are playing the Whip Snakes, obviously. How much does having a chance to play in your hometown for your first championship play into next week? Yeah,
it would be pretty cool. It's definitely something that, just playing in front of like my friends and family, like my family traveled all the way up here today, but to have the game right in my backyard would be like really special. So it's definitely something that a little extra added factor.
Tom Birch, New Sports. You guys as a team shot 52% today, and Whip Snakes have a really great, good defense. And how much confidence does this give you guys going into next week?
Yeah, I think that for us, it's just cool to see like when we're just true to who we are. And we just hit singles. We play unselfishly. We have like a very unselfish locker room, and I know everybody pretty much says it, but I think that when you look at us week over week, week in and week out, like, we play, everybody plays their role. And so I think that when we do that, we get a result like today. And, the 6-on-6 isn't clicking early, so we start scoring in transition. Then finally, the 6 on our settled offense kind of gets into a groove, and that kind of propels us to like 10 and 12. So I think that just being ourselves, they've been the league standard for really since league inception. So obviously I have a ton of respect for them as a group, but I think for us it's just being true to who we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Hi, Coach. If you just want to start us off with some opening thoughts about the game.
Yeah, obviously winning feels good. I'm really proud of our guys. They prepared awfully hard over the last couple of weeks, so I felt like they kind of got what they earned out of today, and it wasn't perfect. And I'm proud. Winning a lacrosse game in this league, as I told the guys post game, is very difficult to do. Winning a playoff game is really difficult to do, and this is the first playoff win in the history of the Water Dogs Lacrosse Club. So that in itself feels pretty good.
We'll open up for questions. Yeah.
Hi, Coach. Hutton with Pro Lacrosse Talk. You got into a track meet in Denver with this team. I got into another track meet today. What was your game plan going in to facing the Atlas team for a second time this season?
Not too much changed. We tinkered around, with a couple things kind of schematically. At times we short-sticked law. At times, kind of on the man down, we shut teat. So we did a couple nuancey things there that felt different from round one. But we got a whole lot of respect for those guys. Obviously Baptiste is probably the front runner for league MVP. So it kind of starts there. I give Withers and our wings a whole lot of credit today just for their effort kind of neutralizing that. And then I thought we did a pretty good job in between the arcs. And then, anytime you can get to an output of 19, you're certainly not going to balk at that either. So just proud of the all around effort, and we get to advance at least another week.
Sarah Griffin with the PLL. So you guys have the most versatile midfield in the league, I'd say. You have the best two-way player, but your whole midfield group can play two ways. How significant is that to have so many guys who can play both ways?
Yeah, that's kind of that was the logic when we were building this whole thing, was just to try to establish ourselves as, I don't want to say two-way middies, but guys that can just wear a lot of different hats. And at times you saw CK playing, a little bit of attack, and at times Courier got stuck on defense just through his kind of wing of face-off obligations. And we can move guys around within the framework of our offense, which is important, but look, we got two dodging attackmen in Sowers and McCardle who are elite, and then you kind of partner those guys with, today it was Walker, who I thought really played a very strong game and just kind of embraced his role quite well. And then you surround those guys with middies who can hopefully win their matchups. I think it makes us I don't want to say difficult to cover, but just a little bit unique in terms of how much different optionality we have there.
Just put him on Zach, 4 points, 8 ground balls. You mentioned just neutralizing Trevor at the strike there. Just how important was he today?
I thought he was awesome. I mean, look, we it's no secret the last 2 games of our regular season we lost, so we had to take a good hard look at ourselves in the mirror. We had some very honest conversations. I had a very honest one with Zach, and there's nobody in the league that I have more respect or love for, frankly. I absolutely love the guy as a competitor and just as a person. And I thought today he was unbelievable in terms of doing a lot of different things really well, but also kind of like managing his minutes. So we just we kind of let other guys get into a rhythm, and at the end of the day, that allowed Zach to be at his best for 4 quarters. Sure thing. Thanks, guys.
Karen, do you want to start us off with some opening thoughts about the game?
Yeah, I mean, great team win. Obviously, like Coach said, anytime you put up 19 points, it's huge. In between the lines, I think Rylan and a lot of our D middies stepped up and push and transition, and that just helps our offense overall. So, hopefully we can continue this next week and keep things rolling.
Hi, this is Tommy Birch with New Sports. You guys had 11 different players score points today. How important is it to have so much versatility and playmaking on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. If one guy's not playing great, there's a bunch of other guys that are going to step up. And I think, that's what makes us a great team and so hard to defend. If someone's having a bad day, every other guy is going to be there to help them out. And, we're not just a one trick pony. We have, a bunch of offensive guys, bunch of D middies, like guys that could do multiple things. So it's huge.
Here, Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Obviously, you started your PLL career with this Atlas team, and now you're on this Water Dogs team from the jump. You guys get your first win in team history in the postseason. Just talking through that feeling of beating your former team to get that win.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a few years now, so it kind of hasn't really crossed my mind. I think just getting a win in general. This is this is my 9th pro season and my first playoff win, so I think that was kind of more on my mind than anything, and it feels good to get one.
Along with the PLL, knowing you guys are facing the Whips next round, and you had a great game last time against them, I think leading score with 3 goals. What do you think makes you guys match up so well against them, and how are you feeling going into a tough matchup with the Whips?
Yeah, I mean, we're feeling good. Coming off a win, you feel good. I think to speak of the versatility again, they have a lot of good defensemen, D middies, things like that. But we have great dodgers and guys that have vision and really make their defense work. So we gotta stay disciplined. Watch some film on our last game and kind of see what worked and didn't work, and fix things from there and continue to build. Thank you.
From the Atlas here, you just want to start us off with some opening thoughts about the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't go our way. The whole season comes down to one game at the end, and if that game doesn't go your way, you're done. And unfortunately, that happened with us today. But I think it was a resilient group, and we could have folded at halftime when we faced a little bit of a deficit. But we stuck together and fought through, and I guess that's a good sign and something that we can hang our heads on for next year.
Hey, Chris, Scott, from the Outside the Box podcast. When you look back on this 2022 season, the highs and lows that this Atlas team had, what are some things that will stick with you from your rookie year that you're going to carry into next year to kind of bring to this team?
Yeah, I think just the importance of every game. You know, every team in this league is so good, and it's really hard to come by wins. So just taking each game for what it is, and not looking ahead. Like I keep going back to, I think just being resilient and working throughout each game is something that I'm going to take away.
Hey Chris, Doug Greenberg from Front Office Sports. This is related to that last question, but basically, in your rookie year, this is your first experience with professional lacrosse. How has just the experience of being in this league, whether it's on field, off field, how has that all been for you, now that you're done with your rookie year?
Yeah, it's unbelievable to be a part of. I mean, just seeing how big the league has become and where it's going, it's really amazing to be part of something that's going to be great in the future. So wins and losses are great, but building something each and every weekend with these guys, it's something that means a lot to me and something that I'm really looking forward to doing next year.
Chris, a lot of opportunities in the first half as a collective offense inside. How tough was their interior defense to get through, and was it discouraging moving forward?
Yeah, I think they did a great job defensively. It's a great team. They're there for a reason, and I think we were a little bit sloppy with some of our shots, myself included. So just at the end of the day, it didn't go our way, and something we got to think about and look at for next year. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Sure. Obviously a tough one for us. Credit to them. They're a really good team, and they showed it today. Obviously, I think we had some moments where we played really well, and also too many moments that we couldn't overcome where we really didn't play well. I think that has kind of been a little bit of a theme for when we have struggled this year in games and games that we've lost. We've had lulls, and other teams have capitalized on it, and that certainly happened today. It's tough. I think it was 7-4, and then we give up a 2-pointers, 9-4 going to halftime. That's such a momentum swing. Our third quarter, we dug ourselves another big hole, and I was proud of the fact that we didn't give up. And in that fourth quarter, we kept pushing, and we were within striking range at one point, which I think was pretty impressive. But it's tough. I mean, you spend all year preparing, for the playoffs, and it ultimately comes down to, one game, and if you lose, you're out. It's just how it works.
What about the transition defense today? Did you like the senior group?
Yeah, I think, they just had too many opportunities, going from D to O, and us defensively not getting matched up, or sometimes they had an extra guy. So I don't think our transition defense was good enough. Even times where they did have an extra guy, we were caught on our heels a little bit. We didn't recognize it quick enough to at least make them make some passes, 2-3 passes before they, get a shot off. It was, too often it was too easy for them. But no, our transition defense was not good. They had way too many opportunities, and they capitalized.
Hey, Tucker, Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Obviously, you've been with this Apples team from the jump. As you look back on this season, what are some things as a leader on this team that you're going to take with you moving forward, and try to incorporate with this team going into 2023?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a group full of guys that are unselfish, are enjoyable to be around, guys I like, building relationships with, and everybody wants to win, right? And there's only one team that feels good at the end of the season. And you're also, each season you're meeting new guys and forming relationships. And I felt like this year, we had a lot of young guys that performed really well, and a lot of guys in the locker room, both young and old, that were team guys and guys that make the journey enjoyable. So moving forward, I think we do have a nucleus to build off. There's no doubt.
TJ from Outside the Box podcast. How do you guys? One, you guys are probably the defense with the least amount of guys playing in the NLL and kind of have that free space in the offseason to play in the championship series. How many of those defensive guys do you expect to kind of take that advantage? And then how does that help you guys on the defensive end of that team?
Great question. To be honest with you, I haven't thought that far about championship series. I know we're in it. I think it's a great opportunity for the sport and for the league. We do have some D guys that aren't NLL guys. I think almost everyone. So maybe provide some value there. Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Coach, if you just want to start us off with just some opening thoughts about the game as a whole.
Yeah, I thought the Water Dogs played a great game. I thought they owned us in transition. They do a wonderful job of pushing the ball D to O. First half especially, I felt like they got on us. And we weren't putting the ball in the back of the cage early, and I think that that makes you question some things. And I think that they obviously pulled out ahead. I thought we finished that fourth quarter playing much better, and yeah, I wish we had a better game plan. I think we could have done a few different things in the transition game to give ourselves a chance, because I thought we were playing decent 6v6 defense there for the first half. So anyway, proud of these guys. Wish I could have gotten them more ready for this game. But I thought we fought to the end, and I'm proud of the guys for doing that.
Hey, Coach DJ from Outside the Box podcast. This year, I thought you guys still built upon last year. Didn't quite have the same result at the end of the regular season that you did last year, but still built upon and brought in the new guys in a way where the team got better. How did you use this offseason and championship series to build upon what you built upon this offseason?
Yeah, I think that we're a pretty young team. So I think that these guys are gaining experience, and we played a tough schedule. I mean, schedule is what the schedule is. We played a tough regular season schedule, and obviously had some hiccups there in the second half of the season. But as I look at it, we had some games there that could have gone either way. And this league is built so often on 1-goal games that I think you have to get used to playing in them. So I'm hoping the guys take this as a learning experience. I hope that this is motivation to continue to work, and to continue to get better, both individually and as a group. So I think experience is a huge thing, especially when it comes to the playoffs. And we now have back-to-back years in the playoffs, and now we got to use that to continue to get better.
Coach, to kind of build upon that from your perspective, this is your third year coaching this team. What are some things you've learned, along the way these past 3 years, and especially this season, that you're going to use to take forward as this Atlas team continues to grow, gain more experience, and you guys, continue to chase after that ultimate goal of championship?
It's a good question. I think each week is a learning process. I think that as a coaching staff, I've gotten, because I've learned from my assistant coaches, better at the film part of things. I think it's really valuable to know players' tendencies and team tendencies. So I do think we've gotten better there. Obviously, I don't think we got off to a quick enough start. So I think that there's some things that we got to examine, whether it's warm-ups. I mean, we're a team that when we're playing really well, I think we're a really good team. So I think that we kind of had some slow starts there in the second half of the season. So I think there's some things that we can examine there. And then And then, as I look at the games where we didn't necessarily do as well defensively, I think we got to be better in transition. And that's something we got to take a closer look at. Is it the substitution game? Is it the way we're riding? Is it the way we're getting back in the hole? You have to win those battles, especially with how short this field is. It's just up and down. And if you're on the losing side of that, it's just a lot to overcome.
We're talking with Pro Lacrosse Talk, kind of a two-part question, but talk about the strategy the Water Dogs deployed to kind of neutralize Trevor Baptiste, despite him still going 50%. And then as a season, talk about the season that he had, obviously one of the best seasons we've ever seen from face-off.
Yeah. First and foremost, I thought Trevor was as good a player as there was in the league this year, as it pertains to making a team better. And I think with Trevor on the field, he gave us some advantages. Obviously, we didn't take advantage of them as often as I would have liked, but he really had a wonderful season. And I'm not even so sure he was 100% there after that Chrome game where he hurt himself. But I thought he played fantastically well. I think he deserves an MVP award, and we'll see how that plays out. But he had a wonderful season, and I'm very proud of him. I forget the other part of that question.
It was just the Water Dogs strategy and kind of neutralizing him a little bit. Obviously, still went 50%, but they were able to take his advantage a little bit more away from you guys.
Yeah, Withers, I think, is a unique face-off specialist. He's extremely athletic. Obviously, they have great wings. And, from my perspective, it looked like Jake Withers was pretty much immediately going to counters and trying to just make it a 50-50 ball. And I think, the technique was just, let's not let Trevor get a quick exit. Therefore, it becomes more of a scrum. And they obviously did a great job on the wings. I think Rylan Reese and Zach Courier did an awesome job. And then you combine him with a guy like Jake Withers, who's extremely athletic. I think they picked up a lot of ground balls. I think that's something else we gotta kind of look at is, how can we be better at wing play? And because I don't think you can just rely on Trevor winning the clamp and getting the ball to himself each and every time. I don't think that's a fair ask necessarily. So hats off to the Water Dogs. I thought they did a great job off the ground and on faceoffs.
Thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Thank you guys. Thanks.